Hi everyone, welcome back to Trees and Turtles. My name's Imogen. In today's video, we are talking about journaling. I love journaling, and I am sharing 10 journaling prompts that I absolutely love for like self-reflection, personal growth, development. Let's jump in. Before we do that, make sure you're subscribed, give this video a thumbs up, follow me on Instagram. I would love it if you comment your thoughts below after the video, and let's get started. So, I have been journaling for the past, how old was I? I was 12 and I am now 23. So I've been journaling for the past 11 years, and that is over a decade of journals, and I now have 25 to 30 volumes of journals. Some of them, like the last few, I haven't written in, but I've written 25 volumes. Okay, so I have significant experience journaling, and I found it's really helped my mental health, and it's really helped everything. I love journaling, I love writing. It just helps me express my thoughts and make sense of the world. So in this video, I'm sharing journaling prompts, and these are questions which are going to help you think about just life, your own development, and stuff in general, which I found really helpful. So these I've collected over the years. Let's get started. The first prompt is, what would your younger self be proud of you for? If you've been around on this channel for a while, you will know that I'm a big fan of cultivating compassion for your younger self, okay? Reparenting your inner child, right? I want you to think about, what would your younger self be proud of you for? Because often we're very self-critical. But if you could bring your younger self, like maybe, I don't know, maybe 6 years old, maybe 10 years old, into the room with you right now, and you tell them about all their accomplishments, how amazed would that kid be about where you are right now? How proud would they be of you? They'd be so proud, like they would look up to you. I can tell you right now for sure that like 10-year-old me would like absolutely worship me now, okay? Like she would be so impressed. And I'm not saying that to like toot my own horn or anything, but I think it's just because kids have this real sort of sense of like curiosity and admiration for people in general, and to see yourself through the eyes of your younger self is to see yourself through a more compassionate lens, okay? So what would your younger self be proud of you for? You can write this as a paragraph or write it as a list. It doesn't really matter. It's just a really important question to think about in terms of improving your self-esteem. All right, the next question is kind of a mirror statement to the one that we just explored, but it is, what would your future self be proud of you for doing right now, okay? So in a few years' time, who you are right now is going to be a memory, and your older self is going to be looking at you right now as their younger self, if that makes sense. Okay, so what would your future self be proud of you for doing right now? What effort are you putting in? How are you working hard on your goals? What things are you really pursuing and being consistent on that your future self would absolutely be so stoked to, you know, you're laying the groundwork right now for your future self. So what groundwork is that? And I really want you to think about that from the perspective of your future self and be proud of yourself in the moment, right now, for putting in that groundwork, for like laying the foundations of that success and that consistency which you are going to experience in the future, okay? So what would your future self be proud of you for doing right now? All right, the next prompt is to give some examples of times when you were a good person, helped someone, or made a positive difference. This is really crucial for bringing balance to our kind of like negative self-talk. So I struggle with low self-esteem a lot, and when I struggle with that, like particularly like I have a really like depressive episode or something, because I also suffer from depression, I often have this negative voice in my head which is going, you know, you're a terrible person, okay, you've never helped anyone, and you're just like a net negative on the world, which obviously is like, that's terrible. Like, I wouldn't talk to anyone else like that, so why do I talk to myself like that? And having this list where you give some examples of times when you were a good person, you helped someone, or you made a positive difference is a really good way to like combat those negative thoughts, okay? So whenever you're feeling that way, you're feeling like you haven't ever made a positive contribution, you can just go and read that list. I am not even kidding. I read that list that I have for myself almost weekly because I still struggle with my self-esteem, and reading that list is a way to fight that sort of fear with actual facts, like objective facts, okay? So give some examples of times when you were a good person, helped someone, or made a positive difference. You can make that into 3 lists if you like, or 1, it doesn't matter. All right, this next prompt is one I love, and it's actually one that I've brought up in a lot of my goal setting videos because this was a huge mindset shift for me. Imagine you're at the end of your life right now. Okay, I'm already halfway through the video. I'm talking about death. Sorry, guys. Imagine you're at the end of your life right now. What would your regrets be? This is a really powerful question. So I'm going to say it again. Imagine you're at the end of your life right now. What would your regrets be? This is so useful because it allowed me to like clarify what my goals are, what I want to do in life. Okay. So it was so useful, and I needed to be able to just have that kind of like almost imagined hindsight to get a sense of clarity on my purpose and where I wanted to go with my life, and to be able to produce a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, like a longer term plan, okay? So having that sort of imagined hindsight, maybe it won't match up perfectly with your real life hindsight, but to be able to think about what your older self might regret is a great way to proactively work on preventing those regrets from ever coming to fruition. All right, the next task that I have for you, the next prompt, is really simple. List 5 things which give you mental peace or a sense of joy. This is just a really simple gratitude task, and also it's a great way to kind of list out healthy coping mechanisms which you can return to whenever your mental health is maybe on a bit of like a downward spiral, okay? And you've listed out these 5 things. It's really simple, really effective, because I'm sure that anyone can list 5 things which give you a sense of joy, okay? I'll list 5 off for you right now. I love the sunlight in the summer. I love the tattoos that I have. I love you guys being on my channel. I'm very grateful for building my career, and I love being able to travel. I have been amazingly lucky to go to San Francisco, to go all around Europe. I love going to Italy. Okay, so that's 5 things that I can think of which give me mental peace and a sense of joy, and those are just off the top of my head, okay? And oh my god, I love my favourite band, of course. Okay, I love them so much. I don't know why that wasn't the first thing I thought of. Maybe I thought it was just too obvious to say. Anyway, so list 5 things which give you a sense of mental peace or a sense of joy. The next prompt that I have for you is, when was the last time you cried and why? You don't have to tell me. And also, when was the last time you smiled and why? Okay, I think these can be really sort of like insightful into like sort of peaks and troughs in our mood. And you know, you might have cried for a good reason. You might have cried like out of happiness, okay? But if you think about when the last time was that you cried, or when the last time was that you smiled, and what the catalyst was for each of those, you can understand your own emotional expressions much better. Right, let's move on to the next prompt. Who is someone that you love or admire, and what do you love or admire about them? I have used this journaling prompt a lot to kind of express feelings that I have about my friendships, about like dating scenarios that I've been in, and I think that it's really helpful for me to kind of appreciate the role that other people play in my life and how much I appreciate them, and being able to remind me to really put effort into those dynamics, into those relationships, so I can really kind of maintain and deepen them, okay? And yeah, it's just a really sweet one. Who is someone that you love or admire, and what do you love or admire about them? Again, it could be paragraphs, it could be bullet points, it could be just you recording a video, or phoning them up and texting them and saying, you know, I really love this about you and thank you for being in my life, okay? Showing appreciation, this is what that prompt is all about. Okay, the next prompt I have for you, and I have 3 more, stay tuned. If you could fix any single regret that you have, what would it be? This is kind of a less extreme version of the end of life hindsight imaginary scenario thing that I put to you earlier. And right now, what regret do you have? If you could fix any single regret that you have, what would it be? Now, I actually made a video about all my regrets. So if you want to go and check that out and get a sort of nosy peek into my life, I put it on the internet, so go and watch it, okay? So I have kind of like poured my heart and soul out into that video. So if you want to get ideas for like what you might regret, but I'm sure you have your own ideas as well. And I'm not necessarily saying like you should have a ton of regrets. Like sometimes people don't have any, and I've definitely produced a video in the past on like how to avoid having regrets as well, which I think is important. But sometimes, you know, things fall through the cracks, okay? So, you know, you might have regrets, and if you could fix any regret that you have, what would it be? If you had infinite money, we love a money prompt. How would you give back to the world? Okay, what's your idea of philanthropy? What would your mission be? So for me, I have 2 very strong answers to this question. Well, okay, I have loads of answers actually, but the 2 that are top of my mind are environmental philanthropy, so like specifically tropical rainforest conservation, and mental health activism. So those 2 are things that really kind of like click for me, and they're very personal and something that I really if I had like all the money in the world, those are things that I would invest in like all the time. Okay, so if you had infinite money, how would you give back to the world? This can really help you kind of clarify your purpose, your mission, what you might want to pursue in life, and how you might want to make a difference. And finally, I always like to write about writing, so this prompt is kind of based on that. What does journaling mean to you? Okay, how does it help you, and what other coping mechanisms do you have? Because journaling is really important, but if you rely entirely on it, it's just part of a toolkit. Okay, so you don't want to like overly rely on like one coping mechanism. You want to have like a broad kind of toolkit of coping mechanisms that can help you with your mental health. All right, so what does journaling mean to you? Is it like a creative outlet? Is it like a best friend that will listen to you all the time? Is it just you getting your thoughts onto the page so you can get them out of your head and so they don't keep like floating around like this big sort of rain cloud? Okay, how does it help you? Does it uplift your mood? Does it help you get ideas? Does it make you creative? Does it help you work out what you want to say to people? Okay, what does journaling mean to you? And this can really help you sort of cement the habit, okay? Because once you recognize the role that it plays in your life and the value that writing down your thoughts can bring, then you're much more likely to form those like positive associations in your mind, and you're much more likely to use it as a sort of go-to when you need like a mental boost, or you need some kind of like creative or psychological outlet. Okay, so it's about reinforcing those positive habits, those positive patterns, which are going to help you in the long run. All right, those are 10 journaling prompts I love. Let me know your favorite one in the comments, and if you have any other journaling prompts, I would love to hear them because I journal all the time, so that would be super useful for me. Thank you guys. Make sure you subscribe, follow me on Instagram, give this video a thumbs up in no particular order, but make sure you do all three. Would love to have you stick around. That's the end of this video. I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.